Now let's talk about the court cards of swords. Swords are, again, pretty cold people if they're depicting a person. And I don't want to say cold in a mean way, but they're normally, again, we're dealing with thought. So the people that are depicted by a sword, the king, the queen, or whatever, are in their head a lot. They are usually private. They do not give you compliments. They do not pat you on the back always. They are very black and white. So when the page comes up, and the page is normally a young person, a very young person, usually a male, but it could be just a very young person. The page is usually a difficult child or a child that struggles. Maybe their behavior is difficult, or they could be difficult because they're so in their head. And at a young age, sometimes that's hard to see when you are dealing with a young person that's in their head, because usually young people aren't. So keep that in mind with the page. If it's depicted as a person, we'll go back and talk about the other. The knight, it almost scares me when the knight comes up, the Knight of Swords, because not only is this person in their head, and not only are they very black and white, but they're a young person of that degree. And when you see this card, the horse is usually on its hind legs, and the knight's got the sword, and it's almost like, I am it, I am the man, I am, this person. It could be very difficult. Also keep in mind with any of the sword cards, when they come up, it can also give us an idea that there may be some kind of abuse. This may be kind of an abusive person, not necessarily physically abusive, but just keeping that in mind when you're reading, and be careful with your querent, because it can and does often, the person that's depicted in that way could be physically abusive or emotionally abusive, or just downright a mean person, or so chaotic and so not in their, like with the horse on its hind legs, like just go and I'm going to do what I'm going to do and damn you all. And so it could be someone in their life that is that way. The queen is a queen, and it's a queen to be careful of, because when a woman's in her head, she's all in her head. It's a woman. She is a thinking woman. She black and white. Again, not a lot of pats on the back, not real flowery, not just very, almost can be cold. The queen can be cold sometimes. It can say that if it comes up, using this as an example, it may be telling me I need to be more of that queen in this situation, that I need to keep sturdy, keep steady, keep black and white. Or it can say that I'm really thinking about a situation, so it comes up and says, in this situation, you're being the queen and you're really thinking it through, and you're very much in your head right now. And the same with the king. The king, of course, it's a man. It is a man that, again, is in his head. He's a little bit on the cold side. He's not, again, real, flowery. It's black and white. That's how they all can be depicted. And again, with any of them, always watch for abuse, whether it's emotional or mental or physical abuse. Just keep that in mind when you're doing the reading, and be careful with that, because we want to always be careful with our querents when we're reading. We have to keep in mind that people have very serious things going on in their lives, and when they're asking for help, and asking for a reading, it's not always for fun. They can feel like they really need it. So we always need to be careful about how we come across and how we say. Remember, they're human and they're asking for our help. When you're talking, the page can also, as we've talked about the other two suits, a page is a giver of news, and a lot of times with the Page of Swords, it could be disappointing news. So it could be something coming your way that's not going to make you very happy. It's going to be disappointing. It also, sometimes when I see it, the page usually has the sword either down or up. And again, he's not on a horse, but it almost looks like he's guarded or guarding something. So it can tell you too that you need to be more guarded, watch out for being guarded, or somebody else is being guarded. And guarded in so many different ways, but there's someone, trying to either get in your way and stop you, or you're trying to stop other people from getting in, and in whatever situation that is. And the Queen and King normally are about the person anyway. Either it's some characteristic you need to take on, or it's some person in the querent's life. So that is the court cards of the swords. They're tough, no doubt. And it's swords are always a hard card to read, no matter what they are. So next I'm going to talk about the pentacles, and I will do that next. Thank you so much.